part 3 of the interview with Ink Cow Prince owner David Padilla is a departure from standard marketing talk. Today we flip the marketing script and boil marketing down to what its essence really is. And that is telling people what they want when it comes to making a purchase from your business. Welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach, author of 5 food truck vending books, including Food Truck 101 and Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business. Today's podcast is sponsored by Table Needs. And if you're looking for a game changer for your food truck business, look no further than Table Needs. It is the ultimate package, a killer point of sale system, QR code menu ordering, KDS, and automated sales tax. Plus, they offer business services like marketing and bookkeeping. They're not only just another vendor, they're a business partner. Check them out at tableneeds.com or find them on Facebook.
Something that I see in the branding that I would also like to mention is trying to crowdsource approval can be problematic in some ways. Sometimes if you start designing a logo, you'll make 5 or 6 different variations. Mm-hmm. And then you'll go to some audience. I see this in the food truck group all the time.
Right.
Which ones do you like? 1 through 5. And you're going to get 130 answers that are all conflicting.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's something to be said about putting something there so that you can get validation. That's fine. But using it as an information tool is going to be real hard because unless you're talking to a designer, people are going to go off their vibes. And when they go off their vibes, they're not considering the entire story. Because like I was saying in the beginning, you are trying to represent your business and your product and set up your expectations. Someone else saying, I like this one, isn't really helpful in that way. So I would suggest that if you are designing your own thing, or having someone design it, that you really think about it yourself. You decide what you think is going to work the best. The things that you should be asking people are very specific questions like, do you think this is easy to read? Do you think, easy to read? Do you understand what this says? Is this visually readable, not just like the text, which that is a problem. I'll touch on that here in a minute. But are the icons easy to read? Like, can I understand what that is? Does it incite the proper emotion? Sometimes I see things like one I saw was like a boba teacup, and it was like a stock image boba teacup clip art, and it was real hard to tell what it was when they put a second like drop shadow line behind it. I couldn't tell. It took me 4 or 5 seconds, and realistically, you have 1 to 3 seconds to communicate something. Basically, what I'm saying is try to be a little confident when you're making these things. You're probably doing a good job. Ask for assistance when you need technical help, but not necessarily for the emotional approval. That's going to get you real messed up real fast because you're going to start doing what you think other people want. And a lot of marketing is telling people what they want, not about asking people what they want. And I guess that ties into that branding in the beginning. When you do set these things up and have your branding and have your logo, you want to tell people what to expect. That's first, number 1 goal. So set expectations. You're going to say, this is a big greasy burger. If you don't like big greasy burgers, you can go get dry burgers over there. I do big greasy burgers.
Yep.
People that like big greasy burgers. That's the story that you want to tell. You don't want to appeal to everybody.
You just can't. That's one of the weaknesses that a lot of food truck owners have, especially the ones that consider themselves or really are chefs. They have a creative mind, so they're always trying to do different things with food, all different kind of combinations. And that ends up being, in a lot of cases, they're undoing because they don't know when to stop. You have to be able to rein yourself back in and go, okay, I've got a menu that's got 4 or 5 core items on it. That's it. I need to stop. I see menus that I literally get tired of writing everything they tell me they're going to put on their menu. Dude, you're not going to have the storage space, the cooking capacity, or the energy to cook that big of a menu. So why are you trying to do it now? You got to rein yourself in. And it's the same with the logos. They're, like you said, 1 to 3 seconds. If they don't understand what you're about, they're probably moving on. Those complicated logos is like, okay, there's too many elements, too much stuff.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the character. It's like, if you put the character there, you're wasting those 3 seconds with an image of yourself.
Yep.
And it doesn't say anything about the food. It doesn't say anything about the experience. It's fluff.
Exactly.
You got 3 seconds to say something, so make it count.
Yeah, if you're looking at that logo with somebody's image, then you've got to look at what's surrounding that image. Is it cooking equipment? So I know they're doing something with cooking, but I don't know if they're a food truck or they're a caterer. What are they? Or they have a garden hoe and a lawnmower, and it's a landscaping company. You're making me think too much about the logo when you stick your picture on it. Especially the ones that are the caricatures, the big bobblehead look, and then the little tiny skinny body. Is
Something that I see or something I think when I see those logos is that their food is going to be like everyone else's. Like that's my immediate assumption because I see them so much and they all look the same
Yep.
that I'm going, this is a person that is cooking food that's the same that I'm expect to get from another truck that has that same iconography.
Absolutely.
That's not always a bad thing. Like if I were to do the barbecue truck and it's got the same, chicken on fire as everyone else, it's like, well, I'm expecting to get a grilled chicken here, probably going to be comparable to other grilled chickens. Something to always consider is like what your competition or good competition is a strong word, what the rest of the community looks like, and how you picking your iconography is going to have an impact based on those preconceived notions.
Like you said, the 1 to 3 seconds is such a short window. I want them to know about food. They don't care about me as a person at all. All they want to know is when they step up to the window that everybody in there's clean and wearing gloves and that kind of stuff. They don't care about my face on the logo at all. They just want good food. We talked a lot about just the logos, and that is the most important part in the branding in general. If somebody is struggling with business, what are some things that you would recommend that your business can do, and just some marketing things to help them get over that hump, so to speak? So we were taking it from the new person to somebody that's open for a little bit of time.
Okay, so a few things here. I would recommend brand assets. So like once you have this logo, once you have your colors, all that stuff done, you want to look put together and organized. This is the makeover montage from the 80s movies where
Okay.
where within the span of 5 minutes, we're going to make you look real good for prom. So here, I would probably recommend flash. So something that I hear a lot in the food vendors for like carnivals and that sort of thing is like flash is cash. If you're in an event, you have a lot of foot traffic. Like that foot traffic is not an issue. You should be making money here. If you're not, it's because you're not as apparent as the other that are there. There's some sort of comparison bias that's going on where you're not getting the bites. Everybody makes decisions off of comparisons. That's how we make decisions as a human. So you need to be comparable, if not better, than everybody else there. And better is subjective. Some ways that I would recommend you really getting some attention to yourself is, again, through color. That's going to be a big one, the biggest one by far. Getting the bright colored food truck when you're at that point is a good option if you can. Painting is an option that some people like to do. The wrapping is some option. InCal has a lot of decal options. I think you could totally do stuff with like ice cream cones or flowers or something to just kind of add some visual busyness to your truck itself so that when somebody does have their 3 seconds, they do say, oh, this looks somewhat interesting. That now if you have this other stuff, your eyes will move around over your truck and visual appearance. They'll start assessing more. You want to hold their attention as long as possible. Stuff like feather flags that are just kind of visual clutter, which is what we want a little bit of. Their visual movement, which we absolutely want. Stuff like your A-frame signs or banners or anything that's outside of the truck to increase that footprint, the visual footprint. At an event will make you money. You have a bigger target. You have a bigger funnel for people to see. I would also suggest the menus. So the menus are something that I see a lot of. I feel there's a few things we could do here to improve this. So I'm really big on ease of use. I used to do web design. I used to do IT all this time. It's like you can't blame people for not knowing how to do things. It's your responsibility to show people how to. In this menu, let's say they have no idea what you serve. Well, let's say they do what you serve because we attracted them properly. We'll use Jim's Pizza. We know Jim's Pizza. Okay, this looks like a small guy who makes pizza. Okay, he probably has his own take on pizza. I'm interested. So I walk up there and I see Jim's Pizza. I see 5 different pizzas on there. And then on of this 5 pizzas, I see a list of ingredients. I see a picture of the pizza, and I see a price of the pizza. And so now, if I have not been shooed away by any of these things, the only thing I need to do is trade my money to get my pizza. And that's what you want. You want to make this decision as easy as possible for everybody. Anytime someone asks a question about your menu, that's an opportunity for you to improve your menu. That's a big one. For every one person that asks a question for your menu, there are 10 people that went, and didn't ask that question.
Yep.
Because it took too much effort. One of the things that I've talked about is using your descriptive text, not overusing your descriptive text, but you have the title of your thing, because you probably have something that you've invented. There's a lot of inventive food here in food trucks. For these pizzas, we need to know what these ingredients are. So let's say we have a margarita pizza. I more or less know what a margarita pizza is. It's, cheese, basil, tomato. I go up to it, and this is Jim's margarita pizza. So it's already been changed in some way. So this is going to have me look forward, look a little further. I get a little closer, and in the descriptive text, I see farm to table mozzarella cheese, fresh basil that was picked before I got here, fresh tomato. This greatly increases the value of this pizza just using a couple more words. And it's not necessarily saying that it's better, it's telling me that it's different. Because being different is more important than being better. But me, as the consumer, can go up and say, oh, okay, I was interested in this margarita pizza. I'm interested in this, in why this margarita pizza is better. And now all I need to do is purchase. The ease of communication is very important. This menu needs to be easy to read. So you're going to want to use your large fonts. You're going to want to make sure that it's clean. I see a lot of page protectors with printed images in them. I really don't recommend those because they look like page protectors with pieces of paper in them.
Yeah, it looks like high school.
Yeah, it looks like a food vendor, at a football game. And it's that's okay for the football game, but you're at an event competing with trucks that are decked out in flags, and these people look like they've been here for a long time. And I'm coming in here with a white truck with duct tape page protector in there.
Yeah.
It's I'm not going to sell as much because of those comparisons. At the football game, there's not a lot of comparisons. There's usually that one truck.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you can get away
with
that. Yeah.
But if you're at an event, especially in a big event, you're going to have to compete visually, not just with your cuisine. That's probably more important than your cuisine, honestly, in those places.
Yes, you're right. Because at an event, people aren't sampling your food and then making a decision. They're making the decision off of everything visual and then maybe some of the aromas that are coming off your food truck. But in an event, it's hard to tell where that smell is coming from. So you're just doing it straight off the visual. And, I like what you said about increasing your footprint, but you also need to increase your height as well. Again, that, 1 to 3 seconds decision making, they're looking at a row of food trucks. They're going to go for the tallest one and the biggest one first. And then if that doesn't grab their attention, they're just kind of moving down the line to the next biggest, the next tallest. It's all about visual in an event. And if you don't have the visuals, you're not going to be as busy. Basically what you're getting is the overflow from other food trucks that are so busy that people don't want to wait in their line.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to be the overflow.
No, you do not. In tomorrow's podcast, David shares 3 things to get right when it comes to creating a brand. Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow because I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.